Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. Hello everyone. I hope that I'm live right now, guys. If you guys are able to listen to me properly as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. All clear? Everything is fine? Great. Amazing, guys. Amazing, amazing. So, how are you guys? Is everybody all right? Please do let me know. Everything is clear. Okay, great. Amazing, guys. Amazing. All fine. Okay, great. I'm also fine, Sakshi. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, so can somebody remind me what we have studied in our yesterday's class? Please do let me know, guys. Yeah, I'm all right, Abhishek. Thank you so much for asking. Please let me know, guys, what are the different things that we have studied yesterday? CSS, okay. Box shadow, great. Image shadow, okay. CSS problems, yellow matching. Okay, you are having CSS border, shadow. Okay, anything else, guys, that we have studied? Font size, style, great. Okay, mid center, great. Margin, padding, border, amazing. External CSS, good. Harshita, just search for on YouTube how to use code sandbox. You will be able to understand. Uppercase, okay, amazing. Align in center, padding, margin, okay, great. Font formatting, great, guys. No update of assignment in Discord. We have already pushed up everything to Discord, guys. So Srijan, I don't think so. You have looked into it. We have put up both the PPTs for the backend web development as well as the PPTs for the current bootcamp on Discord. So you can take up the notes from right over there. It already contains the assignment inside of it. Okay, great. You tell today you start Bootstrap. Yes, we will be starting off with Bootstrap from today. Okay, so I'm just PPT not visible at Discord. I've already sent up the notes on Discord, guys. Let me just search where it has been put up. Give me a second, guys. So resources, there is a channel called as resources on there. Okay, and it has been shared in resources bootcamps section on Discord. There's the backend web development resource and the Hotstar clone HTML CSS bootstrap resource that has already been shared right over there. So please, guys, do go right over there and you can get the resources from the Discord channel itself. Okay, joining Discord is compulsory, guys. Okay, I'm telling you guys right now itself, joining Discord is compulsory. Okay, the Discord link, Umar Khan, is down the description of the video itself. Okay, Karma Kun, thank you so much. I don't know. Okay, so today we are going to start off with Bootstrap, guys. So how many of you are not familiar at all with Bootstrap? How many of you are not at all familiar with Bootstrap, guys? Can you guys let me know? Thank you so much, Akshay, for confirming that you have got the PPTs. How many of you are not at all familiar with Bootstrap, guys? Okay. So there are a lot many number of people who are not familiar with Bootstrap. So no issues. Like I said, we are here to learn from the utmost scratch. So you don't need to be familiar with Bootstrap. We will be learning it from the utmost beginnings, and it is a very easy thing. The next 2 days, that is today and tomorrow, we will be spending on Bootstrap. Today, our aim is to understand Bootstrap. Okay, to understand the documentation of Bootstrap and how to use it. Tomorrow we will be working, so because Bootstrap is a particular thing that there is not a lot of theory behind it, it's mostly practical knowledge that you have to gain. So tomorrow we'll be working on a small project in which we will be using Okay, you will be using Bootstrap and as well as learning Bootstrap in the in the same time to create a small project for us. So we'll have a mock-up that will be given to us tomorrow. I will be working on that mock-up to create that entire mock-up as a website using Bootstrap. So it will be very easy, guys. It like you won't face any problems. That is the reason why I'm here, so that you guys are not facing any problems at the end of the day. Okay, and day after tomorrow we'll be doing our project, that is the Hotstar clone using HTML, CSS and Bootstrap. Okay, so it will be very easy, guys, don't worry about it, and we will have a fun time learning it as well. Okay, so should we start off with our today's class, guys? Please do let me know. Should we start off with our today's class, guys? Please do let me know, guys. Lahari, I'm always telling you guys that my screen is not blurred. Okay, you can, this is a YouTube video, just increase the quality of your video to 1080p. Okay, okay, great. So let's get started. Like you guys said, we are ready to get started right away. So let's move on to our website. Let's go to code sandbox right over here. Let's create a new sandbox for right now, just so that you guys are able to understand what I want to convey to you guys. Okay, or else let's do one thing. Let's use our previous code sandbox itself. Let me remove everything from right over here. We don't require this. We will be learning about it at a later point of time. We will also be removing this as well. This is something that I was just checking whether it will work or not. Control S, save. This is our website right now, guys. Okay, this is the website that we developed yesterday. Do you guys remember it? Let me just open up your chats on my mobile phone. Give me a second, guys. I will have to bring another mobile phone, so give me a second. I'm able to see your chats as well. Give me a second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. So let me just open up the live chat on my phone. Take me 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm able to see your live chat as well, guys. So let's get started right away. Okay. Okay, so this is the website that we have developed yesterday. Do you guys remember this? Please let me know. This is the website that we have developed yesterday itself. Do you guys remember this? Please let me know, guys. Great. So right over here, as you're able to see, I've done nothing else but just put up a button as well down below. This is the button that I've created on the website. This is something that I've done. Okay, so if I'm going back to my code, the only thing that I've done is I've created a button. So let's shift this button to the utmost top. Let's remove this from right over here. Before the H1 itself, we'll create a button. So to create a button, we use the tag button button. And inside of that, let's create hello, and let's save it right over here. Let's go back to our website, reload the page. As you're able to see, we are able to see the button hello on the top of our screens. Now the issue with this is I need to create, I need to change, I need to make that button bit beautiful. So for that, I will be using CSS itself. For that, I will be using CSS. Now there is a website called as css3buttongenerator.com. Okay, so I will just provide you guys the link as well. Okay, let me just provide the link to you guys on the live chat as well. So this is the css3 button generator. This is the website. You can select the text that you wanted to be there inside of the button itself. What is the font family that it should belong to? What is the color of the button that you want? What is the font size of the button that you want? What is the text? If you want to have text shadow, just implement it. You want to have text shadow right over here. How much shadow do you want to put up on the text itself? You can choose all the different things that you want to have from right over here. You can increase or decrease the size of the button. Okay, you want to have a background So you can have some background color as well. So here we have a gradient color from light blue to dark blue right over here. You want to have a hover. So if you are hovering over the button, you are able to see that it becomes a bit light in color itself. So all these different things you are able to implement it from right over here. What is the border that you want to have, all the different things that you want, and then it creates this preview for you. This is the preview of the button. Now what you can do is you can directly copy the CSS code. Okay, so now all these different stuff that you are able to implement right over here, this is something that is happening using the CSS itself. Okay, this is something that you are having right over here using CSS itself. Okay, so you can just copy this particular code. So as you're able to see, this is a huge CSS code. It's a very large CSS code right over here, and it includes a lot of different stuff that you haven't studied, but you can just copy this from right over here. You just copy this from right over here, go back to your index.html, go to your style.css file. Okay, let's go back to our style.css file. Inside our style.css file, I can remove I can just put up one more property right over here, that is the .btn property. Okay, that is the class is .btn. Okay, that is the class is .btn right over here. As you're able to see, this is the code, this is the CSS code that we have copied from that particular website. Okay, this is the CSS code that we have copied from that particular website. Let us save the CSS code right over here. Let's go back to our index.html. The button, okay, the button, we have to put up a class, and we'll call that class as btn. Okay, because that's the class name for the CSS style. Okay, that is the class name for the CSS style. As you're able to see, the CSS style is .btn right over there. Okay, so we can put up the class as that as btn. Okay, let's save it right over here. Let's go back to our website, reload the page. So this is the original button, this is the default button. As you're able to see, this is the default button right over here. Okay, let us go back to our website, reload the page right over here. And as you're able to see, this is your button right now. Okay, this is the new button using CSS. But guys, as you're able to see from right over here, you're able to see from right over here that we are having a lot of CSS code that we have to write for this. And because we had this particular website, we had the CSS3 button generator website, that we were able to generate the CSS from there, okay, using a visual tool, and this copy paste it into our website. This is not going to happen every single time. Okay, this is not going to happen every single time. Okay, and this is where the concept of Bootstrap comes into place. Okay, this is, guys, this is just normal CSS code. Okay, this is just normal. You don't need to understand what I've done in the code. Even I have not typed the code. I've just gone to CSS3 button generator. The type of website that I wanted to develop, I'm able to see from right over here, type of button that I wanted to develop. I just copied the CSS code from right over there. The btn is the as you're able to see, btn is the class name. Okay, so if I want to apply it to my button, I just need to assign btn to my button itself right over here. So I've assigned the class name as btn, and that we are able to get it right over here. Dipali, we have already shared the attendance link from yesterday. Do not disturb the class. Okay, so right over here, as you're able to see, guys, we are having the button, but this is not a practical sense. Okay, this does not make a lot of practical sense to write that much CSS to be able to just beautify a bit or related to a particular button. That is just an overkill at the end of the day. There's a lot of different text that we have to write right over there to be able to create this button, and that is where the concept of Bootstrap comes into place. So what is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a front end library. So instead of writing all that code, like how many lines of code we have written right over there, let us just look at that. Okay, so how many lines of code did we had to write? So from 19 to 44 to 19 to 44, so almost like 25 lines of code that we have to write to create just for a particular button. 25 lines of code just for a particular button right over there. Now this is an overkill. This is a very difficult job for us. Now this is something that has been reduced. Okay, this entire hard work that you have to put up to create that button, okay, that has been reduced by a tool that is our Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a front end library. So for example, you are having, so let us look at this. Okay, let us look at this. So let us search for Bootstrap on Google. Okay, let's search for Bootstrap right over here. Okay, we are having Bootstrap right over here, the most popular CSS and JavaScript library, blah 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 blah, as you're able to see. Okay, and this is what we will be using. Okay, this is what we will be using. Now, why Bootstrap is so famous? Okay, even from this GitHub, if you are able to go right over there, you will be able to see that this entire, so this is the Bootstrap project right over here, and it has got 1.58 lakh stars. 1.58 lakh stars. This is the second most used library in the entire world. This is the second most used library in the entire world. Okay, and so it is usually referred to as a framework, but officially is a library. It's the CSS library, guys. Okay, it had been created by Twitter. Okay, in the initial days, it was created by Twitter. It was used by Twitter, and while Twitter was using it, they used it so that all their websites could be built very efficiently, very easily, and could have the same design patterns at all times. And later on, they open sourced it. So this is the source code for Bootstrap. Okay, so this is the source code for Bootstrap. As you're able to see, it's open to public. You can go and see the code from right over there. Okay, and one of the most used front-end library. So what it basically does is, all the code that you were writing right over there, all this code that you were writing, the CSS code that you were writing, it makes it easy to use. It will do that in just 1 or 2 words itself. So let us look at some examples. Okay, let us look at some examples. First of all, we need to import it. We need to have it inside our code. Okay, we need to tell our HTML code that we want to use the Bootstrap library. We want to use the Bootstrap library right now. Okay, Dipali, please focus upon the class. Okay, so right over here, as you're able to right over here, as you are able to see, so the Bootstrap, we need to tell our HTML. So just like when we were using CSS, right over here, we need to tell our HTML file that, okay, this is the CSS file, style.css is the file that we need to use. Okay, similarly, when we are using Bootstrap, we need to tell our HTML file that, okay, from where are you going to get the Bootstrap library? Okay, that I'm going to use the Bootstrap library. Okay, so for that, what we are going to do is, we are going to look at the installation, and we are going to do it via CDN. Okay, because we are creating a very static website. So for that, we are going to use the CDN. So first of all, we need to copy the CSS. Okay, I will be explaining why we have CSS and JavaScript both for installing Bootstrap at a later point of time. Not right now. This is just we are just going to install it right now. How this works, I'm going to talk about it, but in the second half of today's class, not right now. So please don't ask it right now. Please just copy and paste. This is all we are going to discuss in the first half. We are just looking at how Bootstrap works. Then in the second half, I will be explaining why we are doing this and how this works. So please be patient. All your questions, I'm going to answer anyway. If I've taught it, I'm going to answer anyway. So don't be very like, sir, what this, what that. Wait, listen to me very carefully, or otherwise you would not be able to understand anything. Okay, so we are going to copy this from right over here, go back to our code. The CSS will go down below the file itself. Let's save this right over here. So this is where we are going to put up the CSS inside the head tag itself. And the second that we have right over here is the JavaScript that we have to put up before the body tag is closing. Okay, we will be discussing what this is, how this works. Right now, I just need to use your Bootstrap. That is why I'm just putting it right over here. Okay, let's save this. Okay, now let's remove the style.css. We don't require it. Okay, let's remove the button hover. Let's remove the button as well. Okay, we don't require this. Control S, save. So right now, as you're able to see, this is our normal website. Okay, this is again our normal website right over here. Now, this is our button. As you're able to see, this is our button right over here. Now I will be using, okay, now to style this particular button. Okay, to style this particular button. For example, I want this button to be like, let's take up BTN and then hyphen primary. Okay, so I put up the class as BTN primary right over here. Okay, so if I'm going back to my website, reloading the page, Okay, this is how my button looks like right now. I'm using Bootstrap, guys. I'm using Bootstrap, the class name that I assigned. Just by using the class name, I don't even have to change the CSS. I'm just using the class name right over there, guys. Okay, as you're able to see, if I'm putting up btn primary, okay, hyphen primary right over here inside of code, as you're able to see, btn primary. Let me just btn primary right over here as the class for our button. Then we are able to go back to our website. As you're able to see, it's a blue button right over here. Okay, what if I want to change it a bit as well? If I want to change it, so let's say are you guys able to see this? Please let me know. Are you guys able to see this? Please let me know, guys. Okay, now if I don't want it to be primary, if I want the color to be dark, so I can just write btn dark right over here and save it. Okay, go back to my website, reload the page. As you're able to see, now it's a dark colored button right over there. Okay, then I can even make that button large as well. Okay, if I don't want it to, like for example, I can check this button as btn outline dark. Okay, I can save this right over here, reload our page. Okay, as you're able to see, now the outline is dark, and if I'm hovering over the button, and it is becoming dark right over here. Okay, now I can even make that button a bit larger as well than intended. Okay, I can even make that button a bit large as well, if I want it. Okay, so for that, what I want to do is I can just go back to my code, btn outline dark. I can just write btn hyphen lg large for a large button, then btn outline dark, that is the part like color and changes that I want to have it right over there. Go back to my website, reload the page. As you're able to see, the button became a bit bigger in size. The text and everything became a bit larger in size. Okay, so there are a lot many number of things. Let's go back to our Bootstrap module. Let's go back to examples. Okay, we want to have buttons, so let's search for button button. I'm not able to get buttons right over here. Let's go back to docs. Let's try to find button from right over here. Layouts, typography, footing, buttons. Okay, so as you're able to see, you can use button primary to create a blue color button. You can use button secondary to create a gray color button. You can use button link to create a button that looks like a link itself. Okay, if you want to, like, there's just so many different things that you can do. Okay, you can create a primary button, a link button. What is the role of that particular button as well? That is also something that you can do. Okay, outline buttons, as you're able to see, we saw one of the dark outline buttons that we created. Okay, sizes of the button, so large also we have seen. Okay, that makes the button large. You can create the button small as well. Okay, you can disable a particular button, so as you're able to see, this is a button that you cannot click, so this is a disabled button right over there. Okay, so there's a lot many number of things that you can create. Like you want to create a entirely, like you want to just extend the entire button throughout the entire page, you can do that as well. So Bootstrap basically uses its terminologies and everything of classes that it has already created for you. Okay, it uses this class terminologies and everything. So lg means large, okay, xs means small, outline means an outline, primary means blue color, secondary means red color, danger means red color, and so on and so forth. So it has already created a lot of different, like active toggle button, disabled toggle button, button itself. It's created a lot many number of methods for you, a lot many number of classes. I'm so sorry, a lot many number of classes for you that you can directly use at the end of the day. Okay, without writing all that CSS code. But how does it work? Let's try to understand that. Let's go back to the main page and let's go back to Bootstrap. Let's reduce the size so that I'm able to see it. We need to download Bootstrap, so let's find from where we can download it. Bum, 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 bum. Let's just search for Bootstrap. You load. Okay. Compose. try to download this. So basically Bootstrap is nothing else but CSS code. CSS and JavaScript do code that has already been created for you. Okay, this code has already been created for you, and right now you are going to use it. Okay, so I will open this up in Visual Studio Code for right now. So as you're able to see right over here, it has already created everything for you. So now it has assigned some default styles to the tags, as well, for example, HTML file, the body style, paragraph, address, and all these. And if you're going down below, Control F, BTN right over there. Let's search for BTN. So for the BTN class itself, it's already created the hover state, the focus state, the disabled state, everything. All this code is basically Bootstrap. All this code is basically Bootstrap CSS code that they have created already for you guys. Okay, they have created already for you guys. You don't have to. So if you were doing all that on your own, then you would have to type all this code. It is just for BTN. This is all for just BTN itself. So for button, as you're able to see, there's so much code right over here just related to button, and you would have to type it all on your own. And this is what the beauty of Bootstrap. You don't have to look under the hood. You don't have to know how the engine works. When you're driving a car, you don't need to understand how the engine works. What you need to understand is there is an accelerator, there is a brake, and there is a steering wheel. If you want to change your gears, this is the changing gears itself. And this is what Bootstrap provides for you. Instead of writing all that CSS code from scratch, you can directly use Bootstrap and create your websites. You can just look at some of the examples as well. Let us look at some of the examples right now. Okay, so this is a Bootstrap website. Let's go back to examples, and we want to see. So this is an entire website. This is a little bit cloned version of Apple's website itself. As you're able to see, this is how Apple's website also looks like, and this is entirely created using just Bootstrap, HTML and Bootstrap. That's it. So you are easily able to identify that how easy it is to create websites using just Bootstrap. Okay, and that is the aim at the end of the day as well. So instead of writing everything in CSS, trying to understand, okay, what is this, what is that, okay, you will have to understand that, of course, like basis of CSS you will have to know, but still, like, you can directly use Bootstrap to create websites at the end of the day. Let us look at one more example right now. Okay, let us look at one more example right now. We are currently using, I think so, the Bootstrap version 5. Yeah, we are currently using the Bootstrap version 5, guys. HTML version 5, CSS version 3, and Bootstrap version 5. Okay, so you don't have to download it. Okay, you don't have to download it. I will be letting you guys know how it works as well. Don't worry about it. Right now what we are going to do is we are going to create a div tag around the button. Okay, we have already learned about the div tag, guys. We have already learned about the div tag. Div tag is just used as a container. So we are going to create a div tag around our button tag right over here. I'm just creating a div tag around our button tag. Let's save this. So this is a normal div tag around the button tag itself. Now I'm going to assign the class of, let's say, navbar. That is the navigation bar, to our div tag. Okay, we are going to assign a class of navigation bar, navbar, to our div tag right over here. Okay, as you are able to see. Now we are going to save this. Okay, we are going to save this right over here. Let's go back to our website. As you're able to see, the button is on the top, like it's just put up on the top corner of the entire website. Let's reload the website itself. Okay, so there is some margin that has come up. As you're able to see from the top, there is some margin that has come up, but we are not able to understand because it's plain white. So we are not able to see the nav bar. So let's color it black. So BG, background color, we want to change it to dark. Okay, so we are changing the background color of the nav bar to dark itself, and we are changing the button to, let's say, BTN primary, that it is visible as well. So navbar background color as dark, we are putting it up from right over here. Saving this, we are going back to our website, reloading our page. As you're able to see, we are having a navbar on the top. We are able to have our nav bar on the top with our button primary right over there. We're able to have a nav bar at the top with the button primary right over there. Okay, are you guys able to see this? Please let me know. Are you guys able to see this? Please let me know, guys. Now, I don't like this. I want to have an image in the navbar as well. If you go to any navbars, you have an image as well. So let's go back to Bootstrap. Let's search for navbar. Okay, let's go back to docs. Let's try to search for navbar from right over here. So we are able to get navbars, and from navbar we want a navbar with an image. So this is what we want to have. Okay, this is what we want to have. We want to have an image. Let's copy the address of this particular image. Okay, we want to copy this image from right over here. We are going back to our website, and we will just create an image inside of the navbar. So img, again the img tag, the source we have already copied it from right over there. Alternate text, Bootstrap logo. Okay, the alternate text we are keeping it up as Bootstrap logo right over there. So we are having the source file. We are saving this up, going back to our website, reloading the page. Okay, so the image is pretty huge. Okay, the image is pretty huge. We don't want an image of this size itself, so we need to decrease the size of the image. So let's go back to our source code, and for the image let's have the height attribute right over here, CIGST height, and let's set up the height as, let's say, 35 pixels. Okay, let's set up the height as 35. Okay, pixels. Let's save this right over here, go back to our website, reload the page. As you're able to see, we have decreased the size of the image to 35 pixels, and now this looks like a navbar for us. This looks like a navbar for us, as you're able to see from right over there. So you are having this particular image as well as the button inside your navbar. Okay, you are having the button inside your navbar as well. Okay, and as you're able to see, you can just like go through the entire stuff from right over here, and just look at it as well, how it works and everything. And you are able to see that we can use Bootstrap. Like, we don't have to use a lot of CSS. We don't have to use a lot of CSS. We can directly use Bootstrap as much as possible to create an entire website for us, guys. Okay, so if we are taking up let's copy this particular navbar from right over here. Let's copy this navbar from right over here. Let's paste this navbar here. We'll replace this navbar what has been provided to us by okay, so I think so something wrong happened. I think so this works properly. Okay, so right now I want the background color as dark. For our class, we are going to have the class container, navbar brand, image as well has been provided to us. We just need to have our button. So let's copy our button from right over there, Control X. Let's remove the navbar that we have created. Let's do that as well. So let's copy this entire thing, remove this from right over here, and let's put it up after this, I guess. Control S. Go back to our website, reload the page. The image isn't loading there, so let's copy the path of the image once again. So copy image address, go back to our website. So the image, we need to put it up to Control V, Control S, go back to our website, reload the page. So as you're able to see, let's put it up inside the container. Let's try to do that. Let's take this particular button up inside the div tag, Control S, Control V. Try to see what happens then, Control S. Back to our website, reload the page. As you're able to see, we are able to bring the image as well as the button closer to each other. So this entire code, as you're able to see, I didn't write a single line of that code. I just went to Bootstrap. I just saw that, okay, this is the type of navbar that I want to use. This is the type of navbar that I want to use. So I copied it and put it up right over there. So I didn't write any of the code. I didn't write a single line of code. I just experimented with it. Okay, so the button, should I put it up after this particular line of code or before this particular line of code? And I use that. Now, of course, you need to understand. You will have to understand. So we will be understanding all this navbar, BG dark, and what is this container, what is this navbar brand, and all these kind of stuff. We will have to understand it at the end of the day, but that is through practice. Okay, that is through practice. We'll have to practice it as much as possible to be able to understand that, okay, so navbar brand, okay, this does this for us. Okay, container, this has these type of properties associated with it, and so on and so forth. Okay, and so on and so forth. So right now you don't need to understand the code. You don't need to understand the code. You just need to understand how Bootstrap is beneficial for you guys. Okay, you need to understand how Bootstrap is beneficial for you guys. Are you guys able to understand that? Please let me know. You guys able to understand how Bootstrap? So all this, if I wanted to do using just CSS, it would have taken almost 150 to 200 lines of CSS code that I needed to understand and write as well. And I don't have that kind of time. And I was able to do this in less than 5 minutes, just going to Bootstrap documentation, copying the code from right over there and pasting it up right over here. Of course, I'm able to understand like all these tones and technology. So if I'm having the button class as just button, I'm having the button class as just button right over here, going back to my website, reloading the page. So my button would look something like this. It's just not visible. Okay, because it's black in color. So I want to change it to a light color itself. I'll just like BTN and let's say, let's write it as primary. That is basically, I'm giving it the primary color. Okay, that is the primary button that we have. That is a blue color button. So you are able to see that now my button is visible to us, and you can check out about the other things from the documentation. So of course you will have to go through the documentation and understand it properly. Now that is the only thing. Of course I cannot teach you every single thing. I'll be teaching you the basics. For example, like you want a light button itself, you want a white color button itself. So I can just change this to LIGHT light. That is another type of button that we have. Let's go back to our website, reload the page. As you're able to see, we are having the light button right over here. You want to change it to something else. You want to change it to maybe outline light. You can change it to that. Let's go back to our website. Let's reload the page. So this button looks like this. You can just go over the image and it will hover it as well. So that is the beauty of using the outline property. Okay, now what if I don't like the size of that? So I want it to be a bit smaller in size. For that, I have to use the SM button. Okay, you have to use the BTN-SM. That makes the button a little bit small. So you have to go back to your code. You have to write BTN-SM right over here. That makes the button a bit smaller in size. Let's go back to our website, reload the page. Now your button is a bit smaller and comparable to your image as well. So you have to practice. You have to try to do every single thing that you can to be able to understand that. Okay, and that is how the entire Bootstrap concept works at the end of the day. Okay, so let's try to understand the installment process. So we saw how to use Bootstrap. Now we need to understand how we were able to like install Bootstrap, and like what is this CSS line, what is this JavaScript line, and why this JavaScript is. If you are telling me that okay, Bootstrap is a CSS library, this is a front end library. Okay, now we don't call it as a CSS library, we call it as a front end library. Okay, but usually it is referred to as a CSS framework. Okay, but officially it's a front end library. Okay, so why are we having JavaScript in that? Okay, and what is this code? What is this code that we are writing right over here? What is CDN? We need to understand that as well. Okay, we need to understand that as well. So all that we will be understanding it right now. See, those who are confused, you don't need to be confused, man. This is very simple. You are having Bootstrap. This is a front-end library that you are having. You don't want to write all that CSS code on your own. You don't want to go and type out the CSS code, 200, 300, 400 lines of code. So you are having the Bootstrap library that you can directly use. Okay, you can use directly the Bootstrap library. Now the Bootstrap library has its own wordings. Of course, you are trying to learn a new language. Think about it like that. You're trying to learn a new language, a new technology. So instead of, so for example, when you wanted to make something bigger in CSS, so you'll be writing font size 18. Okay, you'll be writing font size 24 to make it a little bit bigger as well. Now in Bootstrap, if you wanted to make the button a bit bigger, you'll be using BTNLG. We'll be using BTNLG as the class name. So instead of doing CSS, instead of applying CSS property, what you're using is, you're just using the inbuilt Bootstrap class names. You're using the inbuilt Bootstrap class names to be able to do that. So you don't have to write 200, 300 lines of code. You directly use the Bootstrap's inbuilt CSS properties. Okay. Are you able to understand right now? Please let me know, guys. So for example, if you wanted to create a navbar using just HTML and CSS, it would have taken you a lot of time. So instead of doing that, what we did, we used the class navbar and gave it a background color of dark. So if you wanted to give it a background color of dark, you'd have to go back to your CSS code. You would have to write background color, then assign it a background color. So now that you can do it from right over here, you have just using the BG dark. Okay, that is, you want a background color to be dark. You can change this to light. You can change it to anything as well. Okay, from right over here. Okay, then you are having providing it a navbar class as well. So navbar as well will have some properties associated with it. So you're going to your Bootstrap code. Going to your Bootstrap code from right over here. Let's find navbar. Okay, as you're able to see, it has already provided you with some of the inbuilt CSS, position, relative, display, flex block, display, flex, wrap, center, justify, space between, padding. It has already provided you with the basic layout of what you need from a navbar. Instead of knowing how the car functions, so which wire is connected to what, how the engine is basically operating, even without knowing that, you are directly able to use the class names. You're directly able to use the class names and the properties associated with them to be able to build the navbar on your own. Okay, are you guys able to understand? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand? Please let me know, guys. Great. So now what we need to understand is how we were able to import our Bootstrap. First of all, for that, you need to understand that there's a caching property in, let's start from the basics. So how does a website work? Okay, how does any website work? So for right now, we are sitting in India. Okay, we are sitting in India somewhere right over here. Okay, we are sitting in India somewhere right over here in Bangalore. I'm sitting right over here. Now, whenever I'm writing any website, let's say www.google.com. So this google.com, this Google website is basically nothing else but HTML, CSS and JavaScript files. Now from where this JavaScript, HTML, CSS and JavaScript file, from where it is coming to me? It is coming to me from the servers of Google. So let's say the nearest server of Google, let's assume that it's present in United States. It is present, let's say, in Dallas, USA. Okay, it's present in Dallas, USA right now. So when I'm writing www.google.com, it is sending a request. to the so my ISP or internet service provider, which is then, so your internet service provider might be Geo. Okay, let's try to understand this, how this works. Okay, let's try to understand this. So inside of your monitor, you're writing www.google.com. Okay, so now this is basically sending a request to the internet service provider. This can be Jio, Airtel, BSNL, anything. Okay, this is your internet service provider. Now that internet service provider is going to check up inside a dictionary. It has a dictionary of all the names. Okay, so the domain name is google.com. It has a name of google.com. And what is the IP address associated with that particular google.com? What is the IP address associated with that particular domain name? Now this is called as DNS. Okay. Can somebody let me know the full form of DNS? Can somebody let me know the full form for DNS, guys? Please let me know. Can somebody let me know the full form of DNS? Please let me know, guys. So you can directly search for it as well. If you guys don't know it, okay, you can just search for it. DNS full form. Okay, as simple as that. So domain name system. Okay, so now this domain name system is nothing else but a dictionary. It is a dictionary of all the domain names. Okay, all the domain names, that is google.com, devtown.m, wikipedia.org, youtube.com. All these are domain names and their related IP addresses. So what is IP addresses? So the entire world, the entire global network of internet, every server, every computer, every device can be identified with its very own IP address, can be identified with its very own unique IP address. So every domain name as well is associated with some number of IP addresses. Now these IP addresses are basically servers. These IP addresses are basically of servers that contain the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files that is needed so that you are able to watch the google.com website, that you are able to watch the Google website. So what happens is your ISP will then send a request to the DNS provider so that it is able to search, it is able to get the IP address for Google. It's able to get the IP address for Google. Now that IP address, it will connect your computer. It will connect your computer to that IP address server. It will connect your computer to that IP address server. And now this server can exist in US as well. It does not need to be in your locality. It is not possible that Google is coming to, okay, so I will set up one in Bangalore, one in Chennai, one in Jamnagar, one in Ahmedabad, one in Gujarat. Everywhere, every city I will set up a server. This is not possible. So these servers are unique. These are like 15, 20 different servers in the entire globe, throughout the entire globe. So a company like DevTown will have just one server that is catering to the entire globe itself. Okay, so Google will of course have a lot many number of servers. So this DNS, this IP address will then be used to connect your computer to the server, directly to the server itself. It will send it a request that I need the HTML and CSS and JavaScript files to load up the google.com website, and that server will then respond with the HTML, CSS and JavaScript files, send it to your computer, and your browser will render those files so that you are able to see it. Now the issue with this is, how are we able to connect with that particular server? How are we able to connect to that particular server itself? For that, you are having your cables. So this is not wireless. Okay, this is not wireless, guys. You are actually getting connected. You are actually getting hardwired connected. Okay, hardwired connected to the server, to that IP address, using this network of wires. As you're able to see, this is all the submarine cable wires that are there throughout the entire world. These are optical fibers that have been laid out throughout the entire world. You can just go and do a Google search as well. Okay, submarine cable images. This is how basically it looks like inside the ocean. These are like millions of kilometers of optical fibers that have been put up under this ocean itself, under the ocean. This is how it looks like. This is how thick these wires are, and these wires basically connect you. Now these are optical fibers, and they are able to connect you in milliseconds. When you are searching for google.com, it loads google.com in milliseconds, guys. Loads google.com in milliseconds. So you are actually getting connected to a server in US using these wires in just milliseconds. That's how fast they are, and you are able to see all the different wires throughout the entire globe in this map. Okay, as you are able to see, there are so many wires that are able to connect, and they are able to link throughout the entire globe itself. Okay, so right now what is happening is, now these wires, okay, of course, like I said, these servers that Google has, okay, it is not present almost everywhere, but there are a lot many number of servers. And so for a particular person sitting in India, okay, India has a lot many user base. Okay, India has like a billion people that are using Google concurrently every single second. 1 billion people using Google concurrently every single second. So for that, you have something called as CDN, on content delivery network. Okay, CDN or content delivery network. Let me just show it to you guys. AWS CDN map. Let's open this particular image right over here. Open image in new tab. Okay, so right over here, as you are able to see, we are having this content delivery networks. Now these are servers by AWS. Okay, this is the CDN network of Amazon. So instead of you reaching out directly to a server in US for your request in India, they have set up these servers. Okay, they just set up these servers. These are data centers. Okay, big huge data centers which have like millions of servers, then like line by line, okay, that are able to process your requests. Okay, that are able to process your requests right over there. So for example, if you're sitting in India, if you're sitting somewhere in India they have 1 2 3 4 5 different server locations. Okay, and when you are setting up any kind of request, so for example, for maybe Amazon.com, so that is sending a request to one of these servers itself, not to Google, not to something from China or something from US. The nearest location is able to serve you those files. The nearest locations is able to serve you those HTML, CSS and JavaScript files. AWS or Amazon Web Services, that is the cloud computing portal by Amazon. Okay, that is the cloud computing portal by Amazon. Okay, so right over here, instead of reaching out to a server on like maybe US, Georgia or East Coast or something like that, you're able to get it from the nearest location, nearest fastest location possible itself. Okay, that is where now that you have understood the concept of CDN, this content delivery network, that basically helps. It's basically like an algorithm that fastens the process of you getting the files. Instead of getting it from the like farthest location possible, it is able to figure out that okay, this particular data center right over here is free right now. I can just send my request right over there and get these files as soon as possible. Okay, so that is where your CDN concepts come into place. Okay, so now coming back to your code, now you will be able to understand how this works. So Bootstrap is nothing else but files, as we have already seen right over here. This is the Bootstrap files, guys. Okay, this is the Bootstrap files. It has CSS files and it has JavaScript files as well. Okay, so there's both CSS and JavaScript files inside of it. To be able to utilize those CSS and JavaScript files, you need to have that inside your code. Okay, you need to have that inside your code itself. Okay, so right over here, what you are currently doing is, so instead of having a localized CSS file, like style.css that is present right over here, Bootstrap is present on a content delivery network. Okay, Bootstrap is present on a content delivery network, a CDN network of Bootstrap itself. Okay, that is all these locations that I've shown to you on this particular world map, every single data center would have the Bootstrap files. Okay, that is the CSS and the JavaScript files in each of those locations. In each of those data centers, it will have the CSS and the JavaScript files for Bootstrap. What you are trying to do is you are creating a request. Okay, you are creating a href, that is the reference to one of those CDN requests. So you are creating a request to the CDN network that get me the Bootstrap files. Okay, you are sending a request to the CDN network to get me the Bootstrap files, guys. Okay, you are trying to get up the Bootstrap files from the CDN network. Similarly, this is getting the CSS files. Okay, this particular request is sending up the CSS files, and this particular request is sending up the JavaScript files. Okay, this particular request is sending up the JavaScript files from the CDN network. Okay, the next thing that you need to know, about it is, why are we having JavaScript? Now, this is a front-end library, guys. Okay, officially, like technically this is a front-end library, but you also refer to this because you are basically changing the CSS properties, so you usually refer this to as a CSS framework. Like in your local language, you will be referring it as a CSS framework itself. Now, exactly, if you're telling CSS framework, then why are we having JavaScript right over there? So if you go to your Bootstrap, again, you are going back to your Bootstrap website, you are able to see something like carousel. Okay, so you're able to see something like carousel itself. So you are having your first slide. So this is something like you are able to see multiple images, third slide, first slide, second slide. You are able to see something like drop downs. Okay, so you're able to have these drop down buttons as well that basically work. I'm just zooming in a bit. Having this drop down button that is working right over here. So all this drop downs, carousel, not just has CSS inside of it, but has a JavaScript inside of it, so that it is able to work. Okay, this carousel and this drop downs are able to work, so it needs to have a bit of JavaScript so that you are able to use this as well. That is the reason why Bootstrap, although we refer to it as a CSS framework, but it still needs to have JavaScript inside of it as well, and hence technically it is a front-end library. Guys. Okay, this getbootstrap.com is the official document for Bootstrap. Getbootstrap.com is the official documentation of Bootstrap 5, guys. Okay, are you guys able to understand why we are also having JavaScript, guys? Are you able to understand that? Please let me know. Why we are having JavaScript as well that we need to import? Please let me know, guys. Are you able to understand this, guys? Please let me know. See, the thing with technology is that it won't be very easy for you to learn at the end of the day. I'm trying my best. I'm taking up examples of cars and everything so that you are able to understand it, what is important to learn right now, what is important to understand right now itself. But you have to practice. Okay, if you're just listening to me right now and you're not doing any type of practice, so after this particular class is over, you're like, yeah, I know Bootstrap, I've learned Bootstrap, and then you're like sitting and watching Netflix and chilling, then that is not what will be helping you guys out. You have to explore this. I've told you guys how to use Bootstrap. Tomorrow we are going to work on a project using Bootstrap itself. But guys, you need to practice. Just go on getbootstrap.com, try to explore it. Okay, take up some of these, just create a code sandbox, try to import it, see how you are able to import it, use Bootstrap. Okay, so how to change a button, what are carousels, let's try to use carousel, try to understand the concepts, because like I said, Bootstrap, as you're able to see, you're not just able to create, you're able to create alerts like audience, badge, breadcrumbs, button groups, helpers. There's so many different things that you're able to do with Bootstrap. You're even able to have themes in Bootstrap as well. well. So you are able to just like utilize one of those themes that already a very higher level of Bootstrap inbuilt for you guys, and you can directly like just use it. Of course, there are some of them are paid, some of them are free as well, but yes, you can use them at the end of the day. You need to understand that you need to go into it and do it on your own. I will just be able to give you a brief introduction to the topic, okay, but you have to practice it on your own so that you are able to develop the open-mindedness that is needed for a developer to exist. You cannot just come to a session and think that, okay, I've learned everything. That is not possible. You have to, after this class, you have to go right over there and do it on your own again. I'm explaining to you why JavaScript is being used. So although CSS is just used for your creating some kind of visual appeal itself, but this drop down, for example, this drop down button using Bootstrap is able to have this drop down. Now that is something that you can only implement using JavaScript. You can do that only using JavaScript itself. That is why Bootstrap also needs to contain JavaScript. Bootstrap also needs to contain JavaScript to give this functionality to the code, itself, guys. Are you guys able to understand? Please let me know, guys. Why did we link JavaScript within the body and not within the head like CSS? Okay, so that is something that I will be telling you guys when we're reaching the project, because if I'm telling you right now, you won't be able to understand it. Okay, I will be telling you guys, but when we'll be reaching the project, okay, there's a very good explanation about that, but you won't be able to understand it without understanding JavaScript. But I will definitely try while doing the project tomorrow to take up some example where I'm able to understand you why we have the JavaScript right over there. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know, guys. Great. So now the next thing that we need to learn is distances. That was something that was left yesterday. We need to understand that. Okay. Okay. So inside our CSS, we were left at the distances, absolute, relative, and all those kind of stuff. So that is something that I will be covering right now, guys. Okay. Okay, great. So length in your daily life, when you are having right over here, okay, so you refer to length as in miles, you refer to length and in feet, maybe centimeters, meters, millimeters, maybe some other units, kilometers. So you are having all these units of measurement by which you are measuring length. Inches, okay, that is up to you. Now, what is happening inside of when you are developing a website? When you are developing a website, at the end of the day, how you able to determine length in a website? Okay, so for that you have units like pixels and percentage. Okay, the units that you use inside of an website that you are developing is in pixels or percentage. We will be understanding these concepts. Let's first understand a display. So for example, you are currently developing a website. You will be using a monitor, or you can use a desktop, you can use a laptop, you can use your mobile. So you're able to access any websites using these. So when you're looking at these particular websites, when you're looking at these particular devices, all these devices have a screen. All these devices have a screen at the end of the day. Each of these screens are composed of tiny pixels. Okay, each of these screens are composed of tiny LED lights called as pixels itself. Okay, you can just search for it on your website as well. How many of you are not familiar with what pixels are? Okay, so 1080p, what is that P? That is pixels itself. How many of you are not familiar with pixels, guys? How many of you are not familiar with pixels, guys? Please do let me know. We have like coming up very close to the screen. Okay, you're coming up very close to any screen, you will be able to see these squares. You'll be able to see these squares along the way. Each of these squares are nothing else but a pixel. Okay, each of these squares are nothing else but a pixel, and each of these pixels, okay, so each of these pixels are consisting of 3 different LEDs. Each of these pixels consist of 3 different LEDs, a blue, a red, and a green LED. So when you are looking at any website, any display, it's made up of pixels. Each of these pixels consists of 3 colors, and depending upon what that pixel needs to show, one of those LEDs is turned on, or a combination of those LEDs are turned on to show multiple colors as well on your screen. Okay, so that is how pixels work as. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand the concept of pixels? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand pixels? Please let me know, guys. Now, any screen that you are able to have, they have a fixed number of pixels according to their width and according to their length. Okay, they have, because pixels are nothing else but small LEDs, so they have a small size and they have a fixed size. So your screen itself will be made up of a particular number of pixels according to their height and according to their width. Okay, and now when something has a fixed number of pixels according to height and width, you can utilize. So a button should be of 100 pixels long and having a width of 50 pixels wide. So you are able to put up a size to a particular thing, whether it be a text, so it should be 18 pixels, like the font size should be 18 pixels, the width of the image should be 400 pixels. So you are able to use those pixels, so counting each of those pixels and creating the size or the font or all these properties of any of the objects, any of the components that you are able to put up on your screen. And that is where these pixels come into place. Okay, just understanding the concept of pixels, we will be coming back to pixels. Okay, don't worry, we will be doing that, don't worry about it. Okay, so now you can measure anything by two things. Okay, you can measure any particular item in your entire life by particular two things itself. Okay, by particular two things. So right over here you are having absolute measurement. You are having your absolute measurement, that is, this road is 8 meters wide. Okay, this road is 8 meters wide. Okay, that is an absolute measurement. Now you are having a relative measurement, that this road is 2 cars wide. Okay, this road is 2 cars wide. So that would be a relative measurement. Here, the width of the road basically depends upon the width of the car. If you are having a nano, then the road is very thin. If you are having a particular, let's say, Fortuner, then the width of the road is very big. So you are able to use the relativeness of the car. So based on the width of the car, the width of the road will also change. Okay, and that is where this becomes relative in nature, because now this is relative to the width of the car itself. Okay, so there are two types of measurements. An absolute measurement would be a measurement in terms of pixels. Okay, so 400 pixels width. The width of this particular component should be 400 pixels. So basically telling that it should be exactly 400 pixels, whether it be on your phone, whether it be on your laptop, whether it be on a desktop, it should only use 400 pixels. That is an absolute measurement, guys. Whereas a relative measurement is the width should be 40%. Okay, so that is 40%. When you are using percentage, that is in respect to the width of the screen. Okay, right over here, just for your understanding right now, we are not going into a lot of depth. Okay, just for your understanding right now, when I'm writing width should be 40%, that means 40% of your screen, of the width of your screen. Okay, so particular box is there, particular image is there. Okay, let's go back to our code. Let's try to understand it via code itself. Okay, so let's remove the Bootstrap for right now. Let's remove the Bootstrap from our website. Let's just take up a normal website right over here. Okay, let's remove the website. Let's remove the image. Let's keep the image. We will be using the image itself. Let's remove everything else but the image. Okay, let's remove everything else but the image. Okay, so let's just keep the image on our screens. Let's remove everything else. Let's save this, go back to our website, reload the page. Are you able to see? This is your image right over here. This is your image right now. Okay, so now if I'm specifying, okay, if I'm going to style.css inside our image, I'm writing width is 600 pixels. No matter what I do, no matter what is the size of my screen, whether I am watching the entire thing on my mobile phone, okay, so the size of the screen is really small but elongated as well. Okay, so this is on my phone. So the width of the image is 600 pixels still. If I'm watching it on my laptop, it's still 600 pixels. So it does not depend upon the size of your screen. It will take up 600 pixels itself. It will take up 600 pixels itself. Okay, so now what if I don't want that? I want that the image should take up half the size of my screen itself. It shouldn't be greater than 50% of my screen. Okay, it shouldn't be greater. The image should never be larger than 50% of my screen itself. So for that, I'll be writing the same thing that I've told right now. The width would be 50%. Now this 50% of what? 50% of the width of our screen. Okay, 50% of the width of our screen, guys. If I'm saving this right over here, going back to my website, reloading the page, okay, so as you are able to see, not a lot of change that you are able to see right now. But what if I'm decreasing the size? As you're able to see, as I'm decreasing the width, or the length is not affected because it is not dependent upon length. It is dependent upon the width of the screen. I'm increasing the width of the screen, the image, the length of the image is also getting bigger and smaller. Okay, the length of the image is also getting bigger and smaller because now the image is depending upon the 50% the width of the browser. Okay, the 50% of the width of the browser. Okay, so now you don't need to use like the exact measurement. You don't need to use the exact measurement. That is an absolute measurement. You are able to create the image as a relative. It is relative to the size of your screen. Okay, the same thing. Okay, if you don't want it to be 50% of the width, you can have it as the 50% of the height of the screen. Okay, you can keep it as a 50% to the height of the screen. So I'm really like reloading the image right over here. So right now it is 50% the height of the screen itself. If I am decreasing the size right over here, so now it will be depending. Now the size would depend totally upon the height of the browser. Okay, it will totally depend upon the height of the browser. If I'm decreasing or increasing the width of the screen, it is not affecting it. It is not affecting it at all. Okay, it is decrease now because it is 50% of the height of the screen. It depends upon the height itself. Are you guys able to see this? Please let me know. Are you guys able to see this? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Okay, great. So once you have learned this, okay, the next thing that we won't be learning anymore. Able to understand? You guys are also tired. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so today we are doing something different with the attendance. Okay, like I said, joining the Discord channel is compulsory. Joining the Discord channel is compulsory, guys. Okay, so today's attendance link will be made available on the Discord channel only. Okay, today's attendance link will be made available on the Discord channel only. Because we are doing everything right over here for free in these boot camps, we need to make sure that the community, we are able to create a community as well. So for that reason, today's attendance link will be made available after 1 hour, that is at 8:10. It will be made available at 8:10 p.m. on the Discord channel. Okay, the attendance link will be made available at 8:10 on the Discord channel, guys. Okay, so for those who want to fill up the attendance link and get the attendance link from the Discord channel, because I saw that you guys are putting up the timestamp on the YouTube comment section, and I don't want that. That is the reason why we are shifting the attendance link to the Discord channel, guys. Okay, so the attendance link will be made available on the Discord channel. Okay, so it will be made available at 8:10 p.m. today, 8:10 p.m. on their Discord channel. So I know that many of you guys are not even listening to me, so that is the reason why I'm telling it verbally. The link for the Discord channel is available down in the description of the video. Okay, so let me just open it for you guys. The link to the Discord channel, as you're able to see from my website, from my screen, is available down in the description of the video itself. This is the Discord link. Okay, this is the Discord link to joining the channel itself. Okay, we already have 16,000 members on our Discord channel. Okay, so this is the link to join the Discord channel, guys. Okay, so it is down in the description of the video itself. It is down in the description of the video itself. Okay, so it will be posted on all the channels. You don't have to worry, you will get a notification as well. At 8:10 p.m. the attendance link will be posted on the Discord channel, guys. Okay, the link for the Discord channel is down there. So this is the video that you are currently watching. Okay, this is the video that you are currently watching right now. Just go down in the description of the video. You will be able to find the Discord link, guys. The Discord link is down in the description of the video itself. Okay, you will be able to find the attendance link right over there. Okay. Okay. So for joining the Discord link, like I said once again, this is the YouTube video that you are able to see right over here. You just have to scroll down below. There is the link to joining the Discord channel. Just click upon that. It will take you to the website from where you can just join the Discord channel itself. Okay. Okay. So there you will be able to get the attendance link for today. Okay. I hope that you guys, those who aren't on Discord, I will suggest you guys to create a Discord account. Okay. It does not take a lot of time. Okay. Okay. So as soon as it will be posted on 8:10 p.m., you will be able to find on which channel it is being posted. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. We will meet tomorrow again. Okay. In the meanwhile, just please try to practice. Okay. Just tinker around with Bootstrap a little bit today. Okay, just tinker around with Bootstrap a little bit today, guys. Okay, it's very important that you are able to do so, because practice is what will increase your knowledge. Okay, will increase your knowledge, guys. Okay, so at 8:10 p.m. you will be able to get the attendance link on the Discord channel. Okay, where in Discord you will be able to see it very properly. Don't ask me right now. You will be able to see it on the Discord channel itself. Just go to the Discord channel. You will be able to see it. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. And then we'll meet tomorrow again at the same time at 6 o'clock. We'll be continuing with the Bootstrap itself. We'll be learning some important classes that exist in Bootstrap. I will suggest you guys to practice today as well. Some of the basic things I will be asking you tomorrow. Okay, so please be ready for the same. Okay, please be ready for the same. Okay. You will be able to find the MD Rohan. You will be able to find the attendance link on the Discord channel. Okay, it isn't possible that you are not able to find it on the Discord channel. That isn't just possible, because we have organized almost 500 different boot camps up till now. So we are not idiots. We know how boot camps are being like conducted and how we need to do that. Okay, so don't worry about it. You will be able to find that. Okay, so but you will have to join the Discord channel for that. Okay. Okay, so for the note-taking bootcamp, that will be in React.js. So we'll be learning JavaScript and React.js in that particular bootcamp. Okay, guys? Okay. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow again at 6 o'clock. Okay, it will be very easy, guys. Don't worry about it. And we will continue from right over there. Okay, yes, it will be posted at 8:10. Okay, don't worry about it. So thank you so much, guys. We'll meet tomorrow again at 6:10 and we'll enjoy. We'll try to learn as much as possible. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you.